Uh, it's a fascinating cycle coming up because you have this unusual 800-pound gorilla, Hillary Clinton, there that is going to tell us in a few weeks whether she's running. She has the pretty high potential, I think 75 or 80%, to close the race out quite quickly in early 2016 and to largely dominate, I mean, the exit polls nationally. So she's got this enormous lead over any other Democrats. The most viable, credible challenger is probably Elizabeth Warren, who said, I'm not going to run against Hillary. Somebody else, the governor of Maryland, a few others might, but it looks like this may be the easiest walk to a nomination in modern times when the nomination is technically wide open. An incumbent president that can't run for re-election and a vice president that does not appear to be a particularly strong successor. So as the cycle keeps going and it becomes more and more apparent she's going to be the Democratic nominee even in 2015, then you got to think Republicans change their game plan to what Rand Paul's doing, and you don't bash Obama, he's going out the door, you start bashing Hillary Clinton, because that is pretty popular within the Republican Party. But again, like bashing Hispanics, it's really risky in the general election, because independents, many of whom are women, if you spend a year trashing Hillary, and then you turn around and say, oh, and by the way, we want your vote, it has nothing to do with being against women, that may be a little bit tough to sell. On the Republican side, it should be the most fascinating Republican race because the field's much, much deeper and better than it was in 2011. The clown car candidates are largely gone. Maybe Ben Carson tries to find that and get in, but you've got a whole bunch of candidates that are clearly much better. Even Rick Perry's better than Rick Perry 4 years ago, to no avail in my view. I think he's almost zero chance of being the nominee, but you're going to have, even if Jeb gets in, you're going to have 3, 4, 5, I think, really strong potential candidates. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to break down. There's going to be somebody that the Tea Party ends up getting behind because we'll get down to a field of 2 or 3 real quick with the potential of repeating what happened in 2008 on the Democratic side, that you can't score a knockout. It's a little easier on the Republican side because you have more winner-take-all possibilities. But the Tea Party types don't give up easily. And coming out of things like the Mississippi primary, there's a tremendous amount of anger at Mitch McConnell and the National Republican establishment. And they're the last people the Tea Party are going to look to when they tell them, oh, sit down and shut up, let's all get behind this guy. So I think there's the potential for an equally long, contentious Republican primary and ending as it did in 1964 in California, because California has moved its primary back to the end of the line in June. It'd be a winner-take-all primary like it was for Goldwater and Rockefeller. And I think if somebody wins the California primary, and that somebody has won Texas, I don't see how in the hell you deny them the nomination. And that somebody could be our junior senator. I think there's a realistic track for Ted Cruz because the race starts in what's got to be a ballpark he loves, Iowa. I mean, geez, they went for Santorum, they went for Huckabee. What's wrong with Ted? He's a better candidate than they are. They have a hell of a lot more money. And so I think it'll be a fascinating race. I've followed many of them, but this one shapes up to be very interesting on the Republican side. Maybe it's a dud on the Democratic side for the nomination, but it should be a hell of a general election then.